Well, hello there, and welcome back to Peru, where Chad and I are steadily winding our way back to the highway after our extracurricular excursion to Rainbow Mountain. On our way to Peru's cultural epicenter and one of Chad's favorite cities in all of South America, Cusco. But be forewarned, those of you watching who don't want to see any of that crap off the bike are encouraged to keep scrolling, since our after-hours ride to the regional capital's steep cobblestone streets is the last of the Africa Twin you'll be blessed with this episode. In anticipation of our days-long layover, we decided to drop the bike off for safekeeping and to have those pesky front brake discs sorted out once and for all.
Está muy grave.
For those of you new to the channel, our floating rotors were floating a bit too much. Enough, in fact, that they not only caused quite a racket,
What is it they say? It ain't stupid if it works.
but were at constant risk of catastrophic failure.
Doesn't move nearly as much, so we'll see how long it lasts. Might need to replace these eventually.
But as testament of Chad's love for zip ties, we made it here in one piece. With the Africa Twin in the capable hands of Danny down at Cusco Motorrad, Chad was anxious to show me the city he had fallen in love with 15 years ago. Our jumping off point for Machu Picchu, the Sacred Valley, and the Manu Biosphere Reserve. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because the city of Cusco, dating back to the 9th century, before there was a Peru, before the Spanish conquistadors, and even before the Inca, was going to command our attention for the next few days. While taking in the sights and sounds of the central market, we couldn't help but fall in line with a procession of colorfully clad revelers on their way to the city's historic center, which just so happened to be enveloped by the celebration of the Virgen del Carmen, a days-long festival combining Spanish Catholicism with indigenous dance and tradition, resulting in a raucous Mardi Gras atmosphere without the beads. And as easy as it is to get caught up in the endless performers, vendors, restaurants, and shops, we were here for more than just the festival. Cusco serves as the staging ground for one of the new 7 wonders of the world, but getting there can prove challenging. Some of our overlanding contemporaries have chosen to ride or drive to a remote hydroelectric station and hike 2 to 3 hours over the train tracks into Aguascalientes. Others chose the 3 to 4 day trek on the Inca Trail, like Chad did on his first visit in 2007. But we chose the easy-ish option of a 30-minute bus ride and a 3.5 hour train ride from Cusco's historic center to the village of Aguascalientes. Once there, it's off to the somewhat obscure ticket office to reserve your time slot and bus ride to the ruins. Tickets can be difficult, if not downright impossible, to reserve beforehand, and we just so happened to score tickets for the last time slot of the day. So after another somewhat hair-raising bus ride, we finally made it to Machu Picchu, the lost city of the Incas.
The second time I've been to Machu Picchu, but only the first time I've actually been here in the city. Last time I was here, I spent the entire time in the bathroom.
Estimated to have been occupied by a relatively small population of no more than 750 between the years of 1420 and 1532. The site was abandoned during the fall of the empire, due in large part to the Spanish conquest. It remained largely undisturbed until its rediscovery in the early 1900s, and is now one of South America's most popular tourist destinations. And for good reason. Despite what ends up being a very long and, comparatively speaking, expensive day, the journey to the lost city of the Inca was well worth it. And should you find yourself in this part of the world, definitely not to be missed.
All right, well, I'm still sick, but not nearly as sick as I was last time I was here. So much better experience this time. I got to see a lot more than just the inside of the bathroom. Last time I did the Inca Trail, 4 days, 3 nights, and we've been walking for 20 minutes and she's done.
After a very long return trip to Cusco, and making up for a bit of lost sleep, we had one more day to kill before embarking on our trip to Manu. And no trip to Cusco is complete without a tour of Sacsayhuaman, just a 15-minute walk from the city's Plaza de Armas. This Inca fortress, sitting high above their capital, is much more accessible than Machu Picchu, and just as impressive in its own right. What remains of the site contains some of the best examples of the Inca's megalithic walls, constructed without mortar, using blocks weighing up to 200 tons each, with joints so precise that you cannot slide a sheet of paper between these giant, multi-angled blocks. All constructed by hand, using stone, bronze, and copper tools via methods that are still open to debate.
Explain to me, how do you do that right there, huh? They didn't just slap these together. Those are some big rocks. Look at Rose. Didn't just slap her together either. Although sometimes I want to slap her. Ow.
You almost fell.
Shut up, you.
Okay, so yeah. Look at this one. This one.
Hi everybody, I've lost my wife. Technically speaking, she's just an Albuquerque visiting family, but I have lost my narrator, and I'm only about halfway through this video right now. So, I'm going to wrap it up a little early. I'll try to talk you through the end of it. I tried doing a voiceover myself, and it's actually a lot tougher than it looks. So, yeah, sorry about that. We'll wrap this one up, pick up where we left off when Rose gets back from Albuquerque, and, yeah, I guess that's about it. I don't know. Alright, test 1, 2, let's do this. So we got back from Sacsayhuaman. I don't know what these kids were getting on about, but everybody was basically still partying in the streets. We went to Vertigo to book a tour of Manu National Park because you cannot actually go there without a certified guide. And even if you did, you probably wouldn't make it out in one piece. They loaded us up in a van with a couple guides and this kid, nice kid, I think he was from Germany, can't remember his name. But anyway, yeah, looks like I'm getting mauled by a monkey there. I'm not sure what's going on. They load us up in the boats on the Madre de Dios River. There's a lot of footage of me without my shirt on, so you've got that to look forward to. There's the German kid again. But yeah, they take us to this remote jungle lodge. We had to hike all of our crap up this mountain to these plywood huts. Pretty luxe, as you can see. Got mosquito netting. Rose got herself some jungle boots there, which were requisite for walking around through the mud. Got to play with a lot of animals, a lot of toucans, monkeys, lots of different birds, things like that. And that's a jungle hike we took in the middle of the night with machetes, which actually really, really sucked. I did not enjoy that. But we did come across an abandoned graveyard out in the middle of the rainforest, which was actually really trippy. Quite spooky, to be perfectly honest. So Manu is probably my favorite part of all of the Amazon, so be sure to tune in, and I think that's about it. So thanks for watching, and let's roll with the logo and get the hell out of here. Peace.